guys, this is Adam from 3dmodersworld.com. Welcome to another Maya tutorial, and today I'm gonna show you this really cool effect that we're gonna be working on. Is basically, as you can see, we're gonna break this radio apart once it hits the floor. And the cool thing about this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to combine the hand keyframe animation with the dynamics using the xShatter effects. It's gonna be a straightforward tutorial. It's not gonna take too much time. So without further delay, let's get started. Okay, so this is the scene I have. As you can see, I have here the camera, and then I have this radio. It's animated, and so this is the scenario that happen a lot, like when you work in commercials or in movies, where you get like an animation. The client need like specific animation, and then you want to apply simulation on top of that. So not every time you need to have the simulation applied to the object from the get-go. Sometimes they need like specific animation they have in mind in their storyboard, and they just want that, and then they want the simulation to happen after. So that's the case we're gonna be animating today. So first, as you can see, we have the radio flying here and then hits the ground around frame 40. So let's extend the timeline here. And then there's a few things we need to do in order to make this work. So first I'm gonna show you quickly the rig. It's really super simple. So we have the main control here that controls the motion of the radio, and then the radio itself into a group, the geo, it's just like a one mesh, and then this group have its parent constraint to the control. That's all. That's how the animation is done. And in general, you don't want to be animating in the geo itself. If you like having the keyframe in the geo itself, it's going to be a problem later on. So you have to transfer the animation to this control in order to work. So from beginning, just keep in mind when you're animating, like what's the end result going to be, and work with that. Usually, always good to have a rig. Okay, so first we want to do here is we're going to start breaking this radio apart. So since this radio is like wood and these individual pieces, it's not gonna break like bricks or like glass, just shatter on the ground like a million pieces. It's gonna like all these small pieces, we want them to fly away, but there's some parts we want to stick together. So let's open this the xShatter effects simulation, and then let's go to the poly shattering generator. Here we're gonna start breaking things apart. So first of all, let me hide the ground in our way. And there's another ground here just in case. And then let's first go mesh and then separate. So this way we split the geo into its individual component as it's were modeled. Okay, so let's see. So this piece we want it to stay one piece. We don't want this piece to break when it hit the ground, because that's not really realistic. And then if we go to the back and let's switch to 5, and then here we have like a bunch of pieces like this hinge, for example, we could keep it, or we could keep it attached to one of these pieces, like this wood piece or this below piece here. So we need to think about that. So we could like either attach it to both, like this lower section be with this one and this upper section be here. Another thing, like all these, for example, this mesh in the back here with all these screws, I want to combine them back because I don't want them to be like split apart into too many pieces. So let's start merging these objects back. So I'm just gonna select them. Okay, so we have all these objects now, and then this guy. Then let's see if there's another one here. No. Okay, so these are together. So I just wanna go back to the mesh and then combine. So it's went, then you go delete history, so it's outside now. That's fine, we don't need to worry about that. And then let me just hide this. And then we have all these screws. It's gonna be attached to this geo here. And let's see, this one piece also, it's good. So if I do Shift P, it's gonna detach it from the group. So we can just hide it. And then this one we mentioned, we can keep these guys together. for now. This is like just to show you guys an example. Then we can keep this one. Let's say this is like the head gonna break this hinge. Okay, and then after that let's go mesh, combine, and then already went outside, just delete by type, history. Then let's just hide this. And then before we start combining these guys together, we need to do some work. So first of all, let's go to the front part, and then this piece, let's just keep it as one, this like logo. And then let's see here, let me select this part. So we can now decide, do you want this one to be stick with this or to split? So let's this one have it break. And then this one, I want it to go outside, like to fly by its own. So I'm just gonna select it all and then just go mesh, combine, and then delete by type, history, and then just zero it out so we don't see it. Okay, this piece, just keep it as one, so shift B. I want it to be detached, get destroyed. And these like individual knobs, we can have them all fly out but themselves, not really to break into like pieces. So this section I want it to go out by itself, so that means I need to merge all these screws with it. And then let's take this one, this is part of this main geo, so I can just add them to the selection and then go mesh, let's see, combine, delete by type, history, and then we hide. And then we got these individual pieces. I want these to just pop and fly out. Okay, so let's just select them all and then shift B, and then we have them outside, and then let's hide. And then now we got this main piece left. So this one I want to break it apart. I don't want it to stay like as it is, like that. So what we can do is start, let's go shading, wireframe and shaded, and then let's use the polyshattering generator to do this work. So click generate fragments. Now you can see instantly there's these extra faces get created. Let me select one. So that we don't need to worry about right now. So let's just keep shattering as it didn't happen like this weird faces. Just keep shattering. Now since this is wood, it's not gonna break like glass. So we want to be mindful how many pieces we split this into apart. So let's see, like that. And then maybe this one, let's split it as well. You know, so just like breaks into, so this is kind of big. So let's see, maybe we can split this one more. So we have it two halves, like one piece here, one piece here, because this is like weak part, could break. Let's see the top part here, how is it split? That's good. Okay, I think that's pretty good, like enough. We don't need this many pieces. Maybe let's split this one, so this way it doesn't have, or maybe let's split it as well. Yeah, so we don't have, you know, I think that's good. Let's split it one more time. So we have smaller pieces of it. Okay, this is good. So now we have all these extra geo, and it's really simple to remove it with this polyshattering generator, the new one. What you need to do, just go to the hyper shade, and you can see this purple material get created for every new face. And then you just select object with material, all these purple, and then delete. And then we got back our original shape. If you press 7, you can see here textured and exactly how it should be. Okay, so now we have all these pieces created for us. And then what last thing I want to do is let's combine, for example, these guys with this piece, the closest piece to them. And then go mesh, combine, delete by type, history. And then same thing here. We just connect it to the closest. Go mesh, combine, edit, delete by type, history. Okay, so now we combine this one as well. And then let's see. So these guys do screws, and this piece, That's fine. It's a bit big, but you know, we can leave it for now. Combine, edit, delete by type, history. And there's two pieces on this piece. Same thing, mesh, combine, and then let's delete the history one last time. And then there you go. So we got all these objects now. Now let's put visibility back on. It's all like a split into the pieces that we want for destruction. One last thing, just to make sure we don't have any history. It's always a good idea to do that. Just go edit, delete by type, and then history one more time, just to make sure we really clear the history. Now if I just select, you know, we don't have to select the ground right now. If I play the animation, it's gone. So what happened here is we lost this group because everything went outside of it. So we want to make sure we go to the frame we kind of like stopped the animation. So it was frame 40. And then what we're gonna do is simply just take these all pieces and put them back into this original group. Just middle mouse, grab in there, and then you can see the animation is back. Okay, so that's really good. So we got the animation back exactly how it was, and then we got all the pieces on the radio split exactly like what we want for the destruction. Okay, so let's now show the ground. And now we're gonna start working on creating the simulation of what's gonna happen after it hits the ground. So as you can see here, I'm just gonna show you quickly the curves. Of course, like the animation is, when it's going down, it's still going like a nice speeding up. So for the gravity, it's like pulling it up because it's not slowing down. So we want to keep this same momentum happening in the dynamics. So what we can do is, I just gonna select everything here. So I just like expanded the group and then selected everything, all the geo on it, and just gonna create like one group. Okay, so after I select everything, let's go to the xShatter effects, and then let's go to the directional explosion tab, and then click convert to dynamics, and then this gives you this error. That's fine, you just follow here the tips, and then generate explosion, directional explosion. Just give it a second to do its thing. Okay, so now it's finished the simulation, it's applied. Let's minimize xShatter, and then if we go inside the group, we have this directional explode group, and then we have the sim. First thing I want you guys to test once you have this one is if you go to the frame where we want the sim to start, so 40, so let's go 39, and sim start, key selection, and then go one frame, and then press 1. Basically the simulation starts, and then nothing pops out. This is a good sign. If you go back, then press play. Okay, so on frame 39, 40, things split. There is some popping going on, but it's very minimum. So that's the thing you want to be looking for. If there is a minimum popping like this, like in one frame, that's fine. But if things like pops a lot and they like these pieces moves like far in one frame, that's mean the sim have issue with it. So what you do is you go back to the xShatter, and then you go general settings, and then you delete the sim, and then you just select the objects and then run the sim again, and then test just this frame. Make sure it's gonna have nice things like this. Okay, so that's something very important. It's gonna save you headaches later on. Okay, so one thing, I want to just detach this control from the group. So just shift P to detach it, and then let's select it here. And then let's select this control we just detached, and then let's scale it up and then rotate it. Let me go back to the camera, adjust here, and then if we play the animation now, of course there's nothing happening. So let's go back to frame around 45 or 42. Basically we want to go back to the frame where the animation end, and then I just want to select this group and then move it into this radio group, because this group is constrained to the control. So now if I go back from the camera view, let's show none, and then show just polygons only, and then if we press play, flies and then it breaks, but we don't see it because it just keep going down. Okay, so one more thing we want to do here is let's select the ground. Let's go general settings and add static objects. And then let's go back, press play. Okay, now you can see all the pieces and everything looking pretty cool. Now everything floats, and that's because we have this arrow, the gravity is set to 0 right now. So let's just adjust the settings and let's put the gravity to 40. Okay, so let's press play. You can see now everything, and maybe 40 is too much. I don't want it to be like too heavy. So what we can do right now is maybe let's go like 10. Let's try 10. Because I want the pieces to be light, like kind of like this. That looks pretty cool. So yeah, kind of like that. I like that. One thing I want to show you guys as well is here you see this arrow. Let me scale it up. So this arrow control actually how this pieces go. So right now we have them into 0. And that's really low. If I put it like 400 and then let's rotate it backward. So I want the pieces to go back, and then I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna show you how you do this kind of like space effect where everything gets sucked into space. So if I press play, how you see everything gets like fly forever. So that's how this controlling this arrow control like completely how the motion. And now you see like 400 is really strong. So if we do like 100, so things hit and then get sucked in slowly and then speed up by time. So this is how you can do this kind of effects if you're looking for like to do like space, get sucked in or wherever you want. So that will works really well for this kind of effect. So now if I rotate the arrow this way, things gonna go that direction. So this arrow gonna basically control how things gonna happen after simulation starts. But for now we're just gonna keep it straight, and then we can, you know, keep it 0 here because it's naturally going into the correct place, you know. And we can also like look at the, if you go here to the side view, and then we can look to see if the speed is feeling natural with the speed of the animation. That's pretty good. We can actually maybe speed it up a little bit more. So let's go frame 40, have this one like 100, and maybe 100 is too much. You saw it was like intense. So let's go 50, and then let's keyframe here, and then, you know, within like 10 frames put it 0. So we fade it out. So initially you have a stronger hit, but then it fades out. So let's see how that looks like from the camera view. So it goes like this, hits. That's pretty cool. Maybe too much. So let's go like back and maybe put it like 20. We don't want like too intense because before it was kind of nice. Okay, so that's pretty cool. You can see how everything behaving really natural. So we can do that. We can keep it like this way. If you wanna less friction, you can adjust it to get you know how things. If you want things to be more sliding, you can put it to 0. You can see how there's no friction like at all right now. Gonna be so everything just floats and slides like it's on ice. So that's how if you want to simulate like things on ice, you have no friction almost, and then just things slides like that. But for now we can keep it 1, or we can adjust it 0.7. Let's press play. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep it 1. It's a bit too slippery right now. And then here's just more friction. It looks much nicer. And of course we can always adjust the gravity. Let's say if we make it 40 and then let's press play. So now you can see, but it doesn't feel natural. It's just like things stuck to the ground too fast. So we can go 20, then press play. So this is fine, it's better, but I did like it a lot when it was like 10. So let's go back and then press play. it just, you know, things just, it does slide a little bit, but it's kind of nice to see things passing the camera. So this is one thing I want to show you guys. It's a quick tutorial how to do this effect, where you just break things apart in a controlled way, and also like in a way that is stylized, that you have a specific animation in mind, because this kind of animation sometimes is really tough to do it purely through the dynamics, and it's just much easier to create the animation keyframe by hand, and then the dynamic part where things breaks, you can have the dynamic simulation applied that time. So I hope this tutorial was really helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any question, and I'll be happy to help you out. Please take care and have a great day.